Hi guys and welcome to today's episode of Down South. I'm here today, Sibo, as your host, and joining me is two special guests. I don't know if you've ever wondered what life is like growing up in Britain, in Britain we would say. So today's guests are just going to share their experiences on what it is like to grow up in England, being raised by African parents. One of my guests actually was born in South Africa, had part of his upbringing in South Africa and moved over to England as a teenager. So we're just going to share and talk about what life has been like. So today I've got with me Ste Ngosi, and I've got Ukuku. Welcome guys, and thank you so much for joining me. So, Gugu, you were born here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Born in St. Helier Hospital.
St. Helier Hospital. But mom is Zimbabwean.
Yes, mom is Zimbabwean, and she's very traditional anyway, so I never really lost anything at home.
Okay.
We speak the language at home and everything.
You say you speak the language at home.
Well, I don't speak so much, but my mom's always speaking Ndebele, so...
Okay. So for you, you've never felt like, you've never felt like you're not African?
I mean, you spend most of your time in school when you're growing up here anyway, so I'd say the culture that I probably associated myself with more when I was younger, growing up, was where I spent most of my time, and that was at school, so...
Okay.
But the older I get, the more appreciative I am of where I come from.
Right.
And I find myself trying to reconnect and trying to kind of focus on what I identify as, and I find myself identifying more as being kind of black. You never forget, but
you never do. But when does that transition come then? Because obviously you're saying, okay, you were born here, and you affiliate yourself with what you're surrounded with. So you're surrounded by British kids and British everything. So you are necessarily British. But then, so when do you think, but there is an African side of me?
No matter what, you experience what you experience at school, but you come home and you're back in
Africa.
Isn't it? So no matter, even if I'd go out and act one way, I always had my mom's principles and everything like that, all those African principles and all that, the cooking, the food, everything, the music. So I always had that when I came back home.
Okay.
But I think growing up and seeing some of the things, I don't know.
The things that are happening, you would you say you probably thought, I'm more in tune with this. Let me try this out. Where the African bits are. Did you start doing that, and then you felt more? I feel Zimbabwean now. Or I feel. Is it things like that made you feel like, now I am African?
Yeah. My mom, she works with materials and she makes dresses and all that. So I think even growing up, you guys would all come over and you try on different dresses, jewelry, and that sort of stuff. So I've always, had that around me.
Okay. But then for you, Ted, it's a different story, isn't it?
Completely.
Okay, so you had school in South Africa until grade 8?
Grade 8, yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
I came here for about 6 months just to test the waters.
Okay.
In about 2010, 11, I came back, to live here in 2011.
Okay.
So having a taste of home and the UK, it's completely different.
And how did you? I mean, okay, let's take it back to when you first came. So you first came, and the time you decided now you're gonna live here.
Right.
What school year was it here?
It was year 8.
Year 8. Oh my goodness! Now tell me about your experience. Tell me what was different, because obviously you've got school in South Africa, and you know what school's like there, and then you walk into a British classroom.
Right.
So just run me through that.
I feel the biggest difference that I identified as young was culture. Coming from a place where culture is such a big thing, and probably the dominant aspect of being.
Okay.
Coming this side, it was just a completely different story.
Isn't
finding that although you're mixed in classes with people that come from different backgrounds and different places, in terms of embracing core culture, it was, you can also get lost in it. But fortunately, I feel as if I'm fortunate to have parents that have always instilled identity and self-awareness from a young age.
Okay.
So coming here, I feel as if I had that, so I didn't really get lost within what was happening socially, or
right.
I tried to have a lot of conversations with self, is this me?
Yeah. And I guess it's that what Google was saying, coming home, wherever you'll be outside, but coming home to that African home, isn't it? So it makes you always be more on that side. You'll never forget. It makes you never forget, isn't it?
100%.
Okay. So, like school-wise, was it different for you? School in South Africa,
Yes.
Tell me one of the major differences that you noticed, and you were like, "Oh my God, where am I?"
funny enough, is I don't want to call it a misconception, but we will call it a misconception.
It isn't. I would agree.
That the UK curriculum per se is advanced. In terms of resources, I can agree with that. In terms of opportunities and what the value that the degree or the certificate actually has, I can agree
with it. Okay.
But in terms of the content, I was always frustrated from coming in grade 6. It's like, hold on, I learned that in
you
grade
learned
6.
that in grade 6, and now you're in high school.
Again, so it was a cycle. Even right now, I'm in university, and I feel like it's the same thing. I'm like, hold on.
This is something they could learn in high school, and we're doing it in university. So that, okay. So
I just always felt as if we were behind. It's always frustrating because when you come from Mackay, it's like you want to achieve. You strive to achieve the best grade because there's a passing and a failing.
There's a passing and a failing.
So that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed, that when you can actually coast throughout the whole year, and people pass. And for me, it was like, that doesn't make sense.
And then for you, Google, like obviously, Stan is explaining to us that where we come from, you have to pass to get to the next level. Whereas when you've never experienced that, you automatically go from year 1, year 2, it's a breeze. So when you're coming home and your mom is like, Google, you've got exams, you have to study, Did you feel there's any pressure, or did you think, oh, what is she talking about? I'm going to go into year 6 anyway. Did you feel any study pressure? Or?
A lot of it, though. Like, even because I've got my aunties and everything like that, they'd all be putting pressure on me. And I feel like it kind of helps because, like, the things that I value and, like, the things that, like, say other people don't, it does help, and it builds character and it builds presence. And I think still, now they're not shouting me as much, but, like, still continuing onwards, I still hold those values. I still...
That's true. But what has been your biggest challenge in the education side, being raised by an African parent over here?
I think for me, because I chose to study arts,
right?
And usually, like, coming from like my sort of family, they don't really accept you studying art. They want you to be like a lawyer or a doctor. I think so. There was like a lot of resistance when it came to just picking what I wanted to do. I knew I was good at it, but it's like. Then the next level is trying to convince them that, look, there is a career in this. There's misconceptions as well.
It's true.
There's a career in this. Like, I can exceed in this. And I think it took a while, but now they've all come around and they've all accepted that. But I think that was the biggest thing.
It's true, because obviously they've got that perspective of you have to be a doctor, you have to, in their mind, earn something that's going to bring you a salary, able to give you that mortgage, and do you know what I mean? And they probably thought art, so I understand. Oh wow! And Stan, what are you doing at the moment? Are you still studying?
So currently in university. Okay. So I'm currently doing my second year.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll be graduating in 2020. Any
plans of going back, or do you see yourself now established here, or do you?
I always, to be honest, ever since I came, I've always tried to make moves that will allow me to actually go back home and help our family, because the only people that are here is just myself and my mom.
Oh wow!
So I have siblings back home or growing up, and so, what I mean. So I've always intended on doing whatever I need to do here, and then go back home and
so do you think that's what's helped you ground your yourself, like be grounded, knowing that I've still got as per se responsibility back home, 100%. I still want to, so that's what helps you keep you grounded over here. And do you think it also pushes you to like achieve more? And
of course, I feel like because you're here, everyone looks at you as if
you've arrived,
as if you've achieved some form of success, or we're fortunate to be here, but there are still some real life problems that happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, just trying to find that balance is a key thing.
Okay. And then, language-wise, what's that?
Oh,
that's good to know. So you came in year 8, obviously beginning of high school. Did you feel any pressure to pick up the accent, talk?
I feel like a lot of people may say that I have.
You have
picked
got
up
the accent.
but it's funny because as soon as I walk into the house, whether whoever it is,
It just switches.
It switches.
Isn't
Even
it?
when I'm speaking English, you like English, but like, you know, you can
It
hear it.
switches.
But
But then
So it's
let me
like,
ask, but when you go back to South, because you visit South Africa a lot,
Right.
doesn't it? Does your accent
yeah.
still switch? You don't visit a lot?
I try to.
Okay.
You know, I've been here for some time and I've only been back like three times.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So when you do go, does it switch to...
Automatically. I think as soon as I land, it just goes, it just switches. 'Cause equally, it's like when you go back home, you know, you get labelled as London or London. Like,
It's
hold on,
true.
are you going to forget that I've lived the
Exactly.
majority of my
Of
life?
your life, yeah.
And then now I'm like, yeah, like, I'll get to London. It's
Yeah.
like, so for me, it's just trying to scrap that whole part. Is it, I'm still South African guy, like, you know?
Okay. And then what is your greatest highlights of being in the UK, growing up here? What do you love the most? What is one thing that you'd probably say, I can take this, because you
Right.
see yourself back in South Africa, isn't it? I can take this with me and probably put it in the UK, and then South Africa would be...
I think it's...
For someone who have grown, I'm asking for like those young ones
Right.
who probably wish, they see England
Right.
as something else. So what is a highlight that you would take for a young person and put it in South Africa, whether it be...
I guess for me personally, it's just understanding or even having the realization that, hold on, this world, there's so many opportunities, like
It's
it's
true.
a much bigger world, you don't necessarily have to be that lawyer, doctor, or what.
Doctor,
There's so many
yeah.
opportunities, just find what you are passionate about
It's true.
and see how you can work and develop that, and work yourself through developing that. So I feel like moving, to the UK has allowed me to sort of see the dichotomy of both lives and assess how I can apply, the principles.
And live
from
to
both.
your passion.
Of course.
And
Of
live
course.
to your
Stay
passion.
true
So
to
that's
that.
it's true. I feel like it's in this place you are given the opportunity to live your passion. Like Google was saying, she's now studying art, and probably back home you'd think studying art, where is it going to take? It'll be a bit of a struggle to even convince if you live.
Yeah.
But you are given the opportunity to explore and live your
100%.
passion
Of
and
course.
live what you
I
like.
think there's also less judgment.
It's
There's
true.
less judgment in terms of how you express yourself.
Okay.
And that's the key thing that I've seen here. It's like going back home, it's like, hey, judgment is a big thing. Not to say that that's something that you always keep in mind, but it's there. You know that, okay, cool, every mistake that you make, someone's watching. Whereas here, it's a feeling as if you can experiment, you can do whatever you can. That's how it just feels.
But then, wasn't that? I'll ask both of you this. Wasn't that a struggle then when you come home and you feel like, no, but Mama, I'm whatever. I'm this, or Dad, I'm this. So I'm just expressing myself. This is who I am. This is. I mean, they'll probably say, hey, I'm the parent. Yeah, I'm the.
Yeah.
So when it comes to expressing yourself, like you're talking about, there wasn't it difficult?
It's just about remembering where you're from, because like I really did try and transfer myself. I said like black lipstick, I used to listen to rock music,
Okay.
and I really pushed it. But like just remembering where you're from, do you know what I mean, and like where you come from and what your morals are. So like there is a lot of space for you to like try and be you are, but at the same time there's a bit too much freedom.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's a bit too much freedom here to like do kind of what you want,
Right.
So,
And it's good to have that grounding.
Grounding,
That
yeah.
grounding. Okay, no, I get it. Okay, so now, guys, I'm gonna ask, what like growing up when you were now in your teens, because obviously high school starts at 11. Did you feel like you had to grow up quickly? Do you know what I mean? Because you're 11 and you are in high school. Now that you, how old are you? 22 now.
Yeah.
Now that you think back, do you think like I was 11, but I had to be a teenager sort of thing? I had to face certain things that a 12-year-old wouldn't necessarily face in high. Do you know what? Because I'm in high school. Do you feel like it's a lot of pressure? Because you start school at 4 and you finish by 16.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you face certain pressures that a normal person of a certain age group shouldn't be facing?
I feel like I had to make hard decisions fast, so I had to pick what GCSE subjects
It's
I took,
true.
and then that determined what A-level subjects I took, and then that determined what I'd do in uni. Do you know what I mean? And some people, you have to really think about uni at a young age. You have to really think about what subjects you're picking, where it's going to take you. And honestly, your mistakes are kind of made kind of early, but then this is an age when you can't really expect much from someone.
Yeah. So for you, for someone who was born here, but then for someone who's coming from both worlds, you sort of in tune with, no, I have to keep focused because of this and this. I've seen it this way, I've seen it this way. But yeah, she's saying that I've had to make certain decisions. That's how she knows life.
That still applies for myself. It still applies.
Okay.
Although being back home, it goes back to knowing that there's something back home to go to, and you need to try and improve standard of living, within your family, So when you come over this side, it's almost as if, I don't want to say there's pressure. It's self-inflicted. There's pressure on yourself to sort of be something and be someone in order for you to go back home and say, you know what, this is what I was doing whilst I was over there. So coming here at 13, I feel like as soon as the plane landed, that was the mission, just be.
But I'm going to share this. I love how, how we talk about our parents keeping the culture.
Right.
Your mom kept the culture throughout, Your mom kept the culture throughout. You're a Xhosa boy.
Right.
And Xhosa boys go through certain customs and your mom said, whether you came here at whatever age, son, whether you think you are now half British, but you are going to go back and you are going to be a Xhosa boy, uzagoluga,
Right.
How was that for you? Did you,
this is something that I've always known, it's a part of culture. You're born into it. You can't divert. And that's something that I've accepted from a very young age.
Okay.
Growing up in Ghana, you see your older brother
do it.
You're like, yo, I want that. Not necessarily knowing, the other side of it. However, still for me, I was very pro. Yes.
To be honest, it made me feel, because like I go on social media and I saw on Facebook, and I've always known your mom here, and all of a sudden I see a child who's grown up here at home, still being part of the traditions, and I thought, wow, I have never seen that. And to be honest, yours opened a lot of. We saw Imigidi Lana, and guys, we have Imigidi in the UK today because of that. And honestly, I think you're one of the first, and it's actually something beautiful to do. It's nice that Makuleleland, but they can still keep their cultures in all forms, and you kept your culture in that way. I applaud you. I applaud you. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. So I asked you your highlight. I didn't ask what
my highlight.
No, not your highlight. I would ask, do you see yourself living anywhere else apart from the UK? I won't put it necessarily to Africa. Do you see yourself living anywhere else apart from the UK?
I really do, just because I'm going into design and you need to kind of go to more developing kind of areas.
Okay.
So with my degree, I'd really see myself going back to South Africa because there's a lot of development going on.
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
So you're not scared to explore, to come out?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not enough space for me here. So.
Oh yeah, girl, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice to see someone who was born here with that mentality of wanting to come out. Because I feel like sometimes we think that Britain has got it all, But no, I like that. So one thing we're gonna do before we go. You're both from different places, yeah. So we're gonna do a short thing. Stay. Don't be nervous. It's just a short game, just before we close off. Stay. You speak Xhosa.
Let's go.
Oh, but you don't speak Ndebele.
I don't speak about
Okay. So Stay's gonna say something in Xhosa, yeah, and you're gonna have to try and guess what he just said, yeah. So you're gonna say something in Xhosa, whatever it is, just in full Xhosa sentence, and then she has to guess what she has to interpret it, yeah, in English. And then you're gonna say something in Ndebele, and then Stay's gonna try and interpret what you say, because it's two different.
All right.
But we want full deep Xhosa.
Put me on the spot.
Put you in the spot.
I
Okay.
like to say ladies first what I think about it.
Nah.
Okay. I'll do it first. I'll do it first. I'll do it to you.
Okay.
Umamakho uyathanda ukungcolisa kakhulu.
My mom likes making things messy. Too much,
Not even close.
Wow.
Umamakho uyathanda ukungcolisa kakhulu means that your mom likes to shout a lot, likes to tell off a lot. You see how easy it is? Okay, so I'll give you guys a go.
I'm sorry, but I'm still thinking. I don't know.
About Xhosa?
I can never forget, but I don't know what sentence because I'm trying to incorporate all the clicks in there.
Okay, she'll give you one.
I know it was a
Let's
sentence,
go.
but I'm probably going to say very bad. I'm going to embarrass myself. You talk like Kanda. You talk like
You're the kind. That's a good try, though. But
I taught you the wrong thing.
I'm still trying to figure out what direction you're in. Guys, you heard your first.
Listen to how even her clicks go.
I'm still trying to think of a sentence.
Okay, whilst you thinking, Google, give her a sentence in Ndebele and see if you'll be able to hear what you say. Just think of something your mom probably says to you.
Google hamburgers.
Go wash yourself, go. Hygiene important, right?
Google, go wash yourself. Yeah, you're right. Okay, now let's take you've got one.
Let's keep it simple. What's the time, guys? You play show me 5. Let's keep it simple. I just gave
I
you
had 5.
I had
5 p.m.
There you go. Sorry, guys, to disappoint, but I'm on the
Well,
spot.
guys, thank you so much,
Yes, sir.
guys. Thank you for joining me today. So, guys, I hope you had a feel of what life is like for these young ones growing up in the UK, what their challenges were, what our highlights were. And I hope you've seen how we live like on the other side. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe and join us on the next episode of Down South.